Well, it's not here yet, but it's coming very soon. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about a new CPAP mask from Fisher Paykel, the Nova Nasal. It's due to be released on these fair shores on the 19th of January 2026. But pre-orders are open as of today. It won't arrive in time for Christmas, but it will be here in time for a late New Year's resolution for better sleep. Honestly, if I've kept my original New Year's resolution for as long as the 19th, then I feel like I've done well. But should you buy it? Well, it's always hard to say when a mask hasn't been tried and tested on the market yet. But we've had one of these masks as an advanced sample for a little while, and I've got to say, it seems to me that there's a lot to like. So this is a review video based on my first impressions. Well, hi there everyone, I'm Reuben from RespShop. You can find me here on YouTube, on our Facebook page, and on Instagram. I talk about CPAP therapy, tips and tricks, and help you make sense of some of the medical side of sleep apnea as well. RespShop have been helping the CPAP community since 2008, and in that time, we've helped over 1 million people from our HQ based in Reuben, Washington. So, about this new mask. It's called the Nova Nasal Mask. Unlike the recent nasal masks from Fisher Paykel, the Nova Micro and Solo masks, which were purposefully minimal in their headgear design, the Nova Nasal is more in style of the Evora full face mask in terms of headgear. The main aim seems to be for stability more than minimalism, but they have tried to keep the idea of simplicity found in these other recent masks by introducing a new swing fit design in the headgear. How it works is that you first position the cushion against your nose and then swing around the headgear and attach a hook to the other side. This is a very different way of putting on the headgear, as other masks either first put the cushion up to your nose and then the straps are pulled over the top of your head, or you first put the straps on your head with the cushion then pulled down into place. But the real question is it an improvement? Well, the best thing about it in my opinion is that the arms and straps are designed so that they easily, almost automatically, align correctly to where the hook needs to go. You can ask our crew here. Sometimes it takes me many attempts when we are trying to record me putting on a traditional mask, only to be struggling to get the magnetic clips to line up perfectly. So many wasted takes. So I do like that the Nova Nasal, it feels more intuitive in how it connects. But unless you're also trying to look slick while filming yourself putting on the mask, or if you found pulling straps over your head difficult for some reason, maybe because it could catch on your hair, then there doesn't seem too much difference here in terms of ease despite the marketing. The hooks here though have been given the ability to pivot in place a bit. This is helpful for those that move around a lot, as it can help keep the mask stable while the headgear slightly moves. Oh, and there are no magnets here or anywhere else on the mask, so if you do use a pacemaker, that's a big plus, and the hooks are pretty easy to just clip on. As for the rest of the headgear, the straps are covered in air edge fabric, which is softer on the skin and leaves fewer marks than silicone options. The main side arms are rigid and curve away from the eyes, which is a nice feature, and it helps in particular if you wear your mask while you have glasses on, although this is pretty standard for straps to be shaped in this way these days. Something that is less new though, and in fact harks back to the old days of the Fisher Paykel Opus, is the option of connecting the tube through the tube clip accessory added to the headgear at the top. Now this means that you can get some of the benefits of a top of head connection that other masks like the Dreamwear provide, without the potential problem of having air rush past your ears, which some find to be too loud. But it should be said, the tube bending back across your face looks quite weird, and it partially blocks your view, so you'd only really attach it there right as you go to sleep for the night. And it doesn't give you the flexibility that a swivel connection at the top of your head gives you. Still, it could help if you're a side sleeper that finds the noise other top of head masks make means that they are a no-go for you, and after all, this is an optional feature that you don't have to use. My recommendation is if you like to have top of head tubing, then there are better options out there. Now, onto the cushion. Fisher Paykel are calling this a roll fit cushion, and they boast that it has flexibility that keeps the seal strong while allowing for some movement. Again, it seems that seal has been prioritized over size than Fisher Paykel's other recent masks, as the cushion is quite a bit bigger than those on the Solo or the Micro. I think that that's probably a good move. That was one of the most common complaints with the Solo and the Micro. I personally really do like the minimalist cushion design on the Micro, and if you get the tightness just right, it was a good seal, at least for me. But this roll fit should allow a greater margin for error with the strap tightness while still keeping the seal strong. Also, similar to the ResMed N20, this is not a pillow mask nor a cradle mask that sits under your nostrils. Instead, the cushion completely covers the nose like a full face mask would, but without the extension over the mouth. The N20 is one of the best reviewed masks on RespShop.com, and it's a very comfortable fit. So it's exciting to me that Fisher & Paykel now have an offering that uses this same style. Fisher & Paykel say that the Nova Nasal sits lower on the face to give a full field of view, and of course, it is less bulky than a full face mask would be. The final thing to note is that Fisher & Paykel have developed a different diffusion system with this mask. Now, if you've watched other ones of our videos, you'll know that the air diffusion technology on Fisher & Paykel's masks typically consists of a drill that makes some holes at the front of the mask. Now, this has always put them a long way behind the diffusion foam used in most ResMed masks, meaning that their masks have always been on the louder side. The old style diffusion holes can be noisier, and they blast air at bed partners or back at you if deflecting off the sheets too. However, ResMed diffusion foam can be difficult or even impossible to clean, and so they have hygiene concerns. But with the Nova Nasal, Fisher & Paykel still have the diffusion holes in the plastic, but with diffusion foam over the top. And this foam can be removed from the mask and washed separately. They say that this reduces both noise and air draft, and if it is right, it could be a game changer for Fisher & Paykel, as this is a regular complaint amongst users. So, not to take Fisher & Paykel's word for it, I put it to the test against the ResMed Air Touch N30i, which is a similar style but has the full ResMed diffuser foam in the vent, the F&P Evora Full, which just uses the drilled holes, and the ResMed N20, which is the closest mask in terms of style. I set the decibel meter at the same distance, used the same machine, the same pressure, and I breathed as consistently as I could. And here are the results. Well, there you have it. The Nova Nasal stacks up slightly better than those other similar masks, and it was a vast improvement on the other Fisher & Paykel mask that we tested. So it looks like Fisher & Paykel could well be onto something with their new diffusion and roll fit cushion. So what are my overall impressions? Yeah, I believe that this is going to be a really good mask option for a lot of nose breathers who'd like a stronger seal. And I'm hopeful so far, as this fills a hole in the market currently for the Fisher & Paykel range, so I can understand why they've added it to their lineup. If the idea of a nasal mask that sacrifices a bit of bulk for a wider seal area and stability against movement sounds good to you, then this might be the perfect mask from a regular and proven brand in the CPAP mask market. Fisher & Paykel continue to come up with new ideas in a market that can easily become stale, so more power to them. Maybe this will be a breakthrough and become a classic, but I'll keep you posted on how users find it once it releases. If you do plan to try the Nova Nasal for yourself, you can get it on RespShop.com under our 30-day mask guarantee. So you can try it out for yourself, and if it isn't for you, return it within 30 days, even if it's used. And while you wait for the Nova Nasal to land, remember to both hold and sleep tight. I'll see you on the next one.